Hello everyone and welcome to Void Dwarf Studios, where today we are going to check out this new fancy trailer from Games Workshop for Total War Warhammer 3, and we're just going to have a look at it and just pick apart the interesting aspects.
It is like the winter chill. No door can keep it from us. And summer yet may bloom again, though ice be all upon us.
My child, there is so much to tell you that I have run out of time. The sacrifice I made was not enough. The dark gods still feed on our transgressions. Corruption. Obsession. Deceit. Rage. You must face these demons.
Say what you like about Creative Assembly, but my god, do they make an amazing trailer. Holy crap, that was awesome. So, there's actually quite a lot to pick apart here, so let's try and start from the beginning. First up, you have Kislev, the dudes and dudettes in the furry hats. In fact, this is where a lot of the artwork you may have seen from the Warhammer Fantasy posts that I put up last year. You can see the elements now being drawn into it. The Kislevite bodyguard, the giant frickin' polar bears, which I'm so happy about, by the way. And yeah, the leader of the Kislevites seems to be the Tsarina Katerina, the Ice Queen of Kislev. Now, Kislev is a land north of the Empire. It is unfortunately the Empire which, well, it tends to get curb-stomped by chaos on a fairly regular basis. And because of this, Kislev is a very, very, very harsh place to live. And the people who live there are equally as harsh. They are warlike. You could kind of, if you were trying to amalgamate them into something from our world, it's a little bit like Poland, Russia, and a little bit of the Norse kind of traditions all melded into one. It's a bit of a boiling pot of cultures up there, as these various tribes and city-states basically do their best to not only survive in one of the most inhospitable environments that exists for humans, but also to keep the borders clear of chaos warbands and push chaos back whenever it turns up. So this has meant Kislev has a bit of a reputation of being a very warlike nation. They have several famous units, such as the Winged Lancers, which are the horses with the riders with the very fancy feather plumes on the back, the Bear Cavalry, as mentioned, and the ice magics of the Ice Queen herself. And to me, the interesting thing is they're fighting demons, which means things are going badly. Because if there are demons in Kislev, that means that the power of chaos is strengthening, allowing demonic entities to actually manifest in areas that have a relatively low background magic. I'll explain chaos properly in another video, as I feel like it's a subject that we need to go over at some point. But essentially, if there are demons in Kislev, that means things are going very badly wrong. It means things are not great for humans, or anyone in fact, because it means chaos is gaining in power and strength. Now, the other interesting tidbit, besides the poor Kislevite warriors who, they're fighting demons of rage. It's never going to be a particularly fair fight, but the only real thing they have at their back which seems to make them equalize is the power of their magic, and frankly, Kislevites are very, very brave individuals. They've often seen the very worst that the world has to offer, and they're very good at actually, fighting it out. Although Kislev as an army do prefer kind of hit and run tactics, it's a little bit like how the Mongols wage war. They much preferred to do cavalry heavy tactics with an emphasis on bows, striking really fast and then getting the heck out of dodge. Straight up battles weren't really Kislev's thing. They could do them, of course they could do them, but they relied more on speed and outmaneuvering their opponent. These are very professional cavalry who are very good at hitting really hard and then getting out to go round and charge again, whilst their horse archers would pepper the enemy from all angles and make it really hard for them to pin down. So, this trailer confirms that there will be 3 factions. There's Kislev, as I've just talked about. You'll have the Chaos Demons, which I'm so glad they've finally done, where we will have Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Slaanesh. Now, I don't know if this is going to be an all-out demon faction. Maybe you'll have mortal followers as well as like low-level troops per se, or if this is just pure demons. If it's pure demons, then that's cool. But I'm hoping that you can maybe have some more demonic units cross over to Chaos Warriors. That would be pretty sweet. And then there's Cathay. Now, Cathay is a bit of an enigma, because we don't know a lot about Cathay. In the Warhammer novels and various books, Cathay is explored a little bit. If I was to try and explain this in basic terms, it's kinda like a cross between India and China, in terms of cultures, aesthetics, and just generally what's there. You have to cross this great desert, which is crawling with orcs, various bands of Chaos Warriors, as well as the Chaos Dwarves, who I'm hoping become a bonus faction here, because it'd be pretty sweet to have Chaos Dwarves. They have really funky tools of destruction, such as the Hell Cannon, which we've already seen in Total War, but they also could create, demonic engines of war, things like constructs or trains. That was a fun one. They also have these amazing things called bull centaurs, half dwarf, half, bull. A weird combination between chaos magic and dwarven stubbornness, if ever I saw one. And if that's not bad enough, there's also ogres, giant monstrosities who just eat everything they find and have the intelligence of a small child, but with all the brutality and strength that goes behind it. I'm hoping this could become a potential bonus faction too, because ogres are very, 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 very heavy-hitting units. Like, for the equivalent of a squad of 100 dudes, there would be 5 ogres. This is how absurdly tough these creatures are. This would be a monster-bashingly, heavily tough close combat army. Ogres do have cannons, and they do have various forms of artillery, but ogres prefer things up close and personal, and they have some monstrous creatures such as giant mammoths that breathe ice, woolly rhinos, and, yetis. Yeah, I would like to see some yetis, those would be quite funny. But yeah, I hope that gets added in at some point. And then we have our figure at the end, the one that came in and mysteriously introduced himself to the Tsarina. This is the same dude from the very first trailer. I am 99.9% sure of that. And it looks like he's either causing mischief, because clearly he became a sorcerer Tzeentch. That was pretty obvious in the first trailer, having become corrupted by the powers of the Liber Chaotica, the big book that he was reading. Or if it's not the Liber Chaotica, it was some kind of chaos-infested magic book. And yeah, so he's now causing trouble with Kislev. I'm very curious if there's going to be like a final play, like there's going to be some story-driven campaign where he's the big baddie, per se. And the letter seems to suggest that this guy was the one who sent the letter to her. Now, I don't know who the Tsarina Katerina's parents are, whether her dad was, in fact, a wizard of High-Esh, because I'm pretty sure that's what he was. He had a snake staff, so that's the wind of light. So, I don't know about that, but I do know that this is probably going to end up in some kind of weird, tricksy plan. I mean, it is Tzeentch after all. But overall, I'm going to say this is a really cool trailer, and I'm pretty positive that it's going to be an amazing addition to Warhammer Fantasy. I'm going to hold off from buying it. I've recently managed to get a hold of Warhammer Total War 2, but I would personally recommend waiting a moment because, well, speaking from a lot of personal experience, the Total War games, when they came out at launch, were pretty buggy. I still have memories of my Rome 2 Total War game being practically unplayable, and yeah, they've been a little hit and miss when it comes to their games coming out at launch. So I would hold off a little bit, maybe wait and see what bonus content they're willing to put out for it. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed this little review. Are you excited for these new factions? Would you like me to discuss these factions in some separate lore videos? Please leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and check out my social media pages. Thank you all very much for watching, and have a good day. Take care, everyone.